Muy buenos días, maestros. Good morning. Today, I just want to give a quick tip that was something that I had actually done when I was a teacher, but then also I just recently saw this resource again on a video, and I thought, gosh, mine was a little bit different, but after seeing this other video, I thought this could be totally up elementary's level. So what I was wanting to share today is about when we are establishing our routines and we know that we still have students that have a tendency to get chatty, and how to reduce those interruptions. Because as a teacher, I just remember too of like, if you're constantly being interrupted, because kids want to share and we know that, but if it takes away from your ability to be delivering the lesson in such, and for students not to be disrupting the learning environment, this is something that when I saw this video, I was like, oh my gosh, let me see if I can share this. So it's just a tip and a strategy that may or may not work for you. But one of the things that you could do, and you think about the time of day in which your students tend to get most chatty, or they want to interrupt the most. And so maybe it's just a 30-minute period. So let's say it's from 9 to 9:30, it's the AM, or perhaps if you're a specialist, it's a certain class, or maybe it's really around a specific subject area, whether it be math, SLA, or ELA. So the idea is that you chart how many times you're being interrupted. And when I saw this video again, I was thinking about, okay, so for myself, I used to keep a tally mark of how many times kids interrupted me, and then we talked about it. But this is actually talking and taking it one step further. So let's say it's from 9 to 9:30, and very discreetly, you just keep a tally mark of how many times they interrupt. But then the follow-up is really talking to your students about the why. So after 9:30, you could pause the class and say, so do you realize in a 30-minute period, I was interrupted 17 times. And so when you think about the number of times that they're not being able to access their lesson, and you're not being able to effectively give it as much as you want, then that's something to talk about. So talk to them about the why. The other thing is, in the video, this person shared that don't get in a power struggle. And so, especially with elementary students, we know that they want to quickly do the blame game of like, well, she said that, or no, that doesn't, that's not what I meant, or they just try to displace the ownership. So don't get in a power struggle with them, and simply say, well, I was interrupted and I made a tally mark. And so we can think about, then we can start to chart it. So for example, if the first day that you try it and you were interrupted 17 times and the kids know about it, then the next day at the same time, see if they can get down to 14, or maybe it's 13 and then 12, and you will see hopefully a decline in the number of times that you're interrupted, because kids are being able to see the charting of it. The other thing to think about is the reward. So maybe that positive praise is going to be enough, and just go, wow, you guys, magnifico. Then, that you see that you're declining in interruptions, but maybe they're going to need something more, and maybe that's extra reading time, or maybe a party that they're working for, etc. But we want to create that positive learning environment where you can be able to be your best self and be effective in the classroom and with instruction, because we know when tier 1 instruction is solid and there is that flow of really making sure there's high engagement, then we know that our kids are going to just show a tremendous amount of growth this year. So if your class starts to get a little chatty and you really want to try a different strategy, this might just be one of them. If you want to talk in person more about it, I'm happy to sit down, so let me just know. All right, mil gracias por todo lo que hacen. Adiós.